Welcome to Sideline Sports, where we give you an up-close and personal look at the teams, coaches, and athletes that make up the South Sound. Here's your host, Jeff Slakey.
Hi, and thank you so much for tuning into another Sideline Sports. This week, a doubleheader for Shelton soccer and volleyball. Shelton football travels to Peninsula. The first annual Cornhole Classic is at the Bent Vine Brewery. And Shelton football takes on Timberline in our Game of the Week.
This portion is being brought to you in part by
Mason General Hospital, United Community, Empowered People, Exceptional Health. It was a doubleheader at Shelton High School Thursday night with both Shelton volleyball and Shelton soccer in action.
Shelton volleyball were back at home Thursday night hosting conference foe Central Kitsap. The High Climbers jumped out to a hot start, taking the first set by a score of 25-18. The Cougars would then rebound in the second set with some strong attacking play, winning 25-17 to even the match at 1-all. The High Climbers would close the gap in the final two sets, but ultimately fall to Central Kitsap 25-22 and 25-20, losing the match 3-1. Shelton next hit the road to Olympia to take on Capital Tuesday night. On the pitch, it was Shelton soccer hosting Timberline. The Blazers jumped out to an early lead, scoring two first-half goals, taking a 2-0 advantage into halftime. Timberline would add two more goals in the second half, but Shelton's Haley Stotts would also find the back of the net, scoring the first goal of the season for the High Climbers. Timberline would take the contest by a final score of 4-1. Freshman goalkeeper Victoria Silverman impressed for the High Climbers, recording 12 saves. Shelton are back in action at Yelm Tuesday night. I'm Sean Wells for Fiber One Sports.
Sideline Sports is being brought to you in part by
The Gillis Auto Center. At Gillis, you're covered forever. The High Climbers were looking for their first victory of the season on the road at Peninsula.
It was the Peninsula Seahawks hosting the Shelton High Climbers Friday night in South Sound Conference play. Peninsula got on the board first just 4 minutes into the first quarter when Braden Potter returned a pick six, 70 yards for the Seahawks. Potter would make it 21-0 Peninsula, finding the end zone on a 20-yard run to close out the first quarter. Ozzie Martin would extend the Seahawks lead on a 1-yard touchdown run as Peninsula took a 35-0 lead into halftime. The Seahawks would add three more touchdowns in the second half as they went on to knock off the High Climbers 56-0. Braden Potter finished with 3 touchdowns for Peninsula, while quarterback Burt Griffin threw for 2 touchdowns and also scoring one on the ground. Shelton will look to regroup next week when they take on Timberline Thursday night. I'm Sean Wells for Fiber One Sports.
Sideline Sports is being brought to you in part by
The first ever Cornhole Classic helps raise over $2,000 for the Firefighter Benevolent Fund.
It was the first annual Cornhole Classic at Bent Vine Brewery in Belfair Saturday evening, raising money for the North Mason Firefighter Benevolent Fund. Firefighters from all over the Northwest were on hand as 24 teams competed in the Classic, raising over $2,000, donating 100% of the proceeds. North Mason Fire Prevention Captain Jeremy Hicks was proud of the outpouring community support the event received, helping out a great cause.
Raising money for the Benevolent Foundation that we do, and that supports firefighters and their families when they get hurt, injured, or unfortunately killed sometimes. Their families' tuition, stuff like that.
Bent Vine Brewery co-owner Tim Mosbrick says he couldn't pass up the chance to host the first Cornhole Classic, which he hopes becomes an annual tradition at Bent Vine.
The firefighters are very appreciative, I know, and we're so happy to have them here. And of course, we're appreciative of the work that they do.
This year's grand prize consisted of 2 Corn on the Cob trophies and bragging rights for the following year. North Mason Fire Prevention Captain Jeremy Hicks was hoping North Mason firefighters would bring home the hardware.
The grand prize is a really cheesy trophy and bragging rights, which for us is a pretty big deal, bragging rights. And hopefully our firefighters take care of it and take the trophy home, because we don't want to have to deal with the bragging rights all year long.
I'm Sean Wells for Fiber One Sports.
Checking the scoreboard, here's some previous results for you. In football, Port Angeles 13, North Mason 2. Timberline 21, Central Kitsap 7. Yelm 21, Gig Harbor 17. In soccer, Yelm 2, Capital 2. North Thurston 1, Peninsula 0, and North Mason over Coopville 2-1. In volleyball, Squim over North Mason 3-0, Capital over Yelm 3-0, and Timberline over North Thurston 3-0. Our game of the week is Shelton football on the road at Timberline. Shelton coming off a tough defeat, falling to Peninsula 56-0. The Blazers, on the other hand, are off to a great start this season, currently ranked in the top 10 in the state with a perfect 4-0 record. Timberline coming off a 21-7 road victory at Central Kitsap. Be sure to listen to the game Thursday night on iFiber One News Radio, 10:30 a.m. and 103.3 FM. Also streamed online around the world at iFiber1newsradio.com. Taking a look at the sports schedule, in football, North Thurston's at Yelm, Capital versus Peninsula, and North Mason at Olympic. In soccer, North Mason versus North Kitsap, Shelton at Yelm, and Timberline versus Gig Harbor. Volleyball schedule, Capital versus Shelton, Timberline versus Central Kitsap, and North Thurston at Gig Harbor. This has been another presentation of Sideline Sports. I'm Jeff Slakey.